Hi everyone, Game 6 was played today in World Chess Championship. Let's quickly jump into the game. It was a very exciting game. Dink was white, Nepo black. d4, knight f6, knight to f3, d5, and bishop to f4. Yes, for the first time in World Chess Championship we have London system. c5, e3, knight c6, knight b to d2, cd, ed, and bishop to f5. Black opted for this setup with bishop here on this diagonal and also trying to play e6, so getting away, the bishop on f file, and not, of course, not playing e6 first because now bishop is locked. Now Dink responded with c3, e6, and bishop to b5 was played. Here the most popular move is to play queen to b3, but Dink opted for this move. Bishop d6, played by Jan, take, take, castle, castle, and here rook to e1 was played. Now h6 move, played by Jan, and knight to e5. And this is actually a new move here. Now, before it was a4 was possible in a previous game between Kamsky Marcus entitled Tuesday 2020, sorry. Knight to e5, knight to e7, and a4, very good move. Our plan is to go a5, also if we prevent black to play a6 and b5 in some lines. And here a6 was played, bishop to f1, knight to d7. And this was actually not that good move, because now white will become positionally much better. We take the knight, queen d7, and a5 was played. And our plan is to go with knight here to c5 and then b4. Of course, if black would allow that. Queen to c7, queen f3. Now the point of queen to f3 is to play a rook to a3, and this rook may be here, so we can go with this maneuver. And we need to double our rooks, because knight on c6 would prevent immediate jump of knight to c5. Rook f to c8, a rook a3. Here bishop to g5 was played, knight d3, c. Now we have, of course, if we play knight here now on c5, then black would take. And if we go here, then maybe rook to e8, but we can still play knight to c5. But actually this wasn't the best move, and Dink chose the best move, queen to g3. Now, of course, we don't want to exchange, because white would have positional domination. Queen e7 and h4, very nice move. The point of this move is that after, let's say, if we play knight to c5, knight a5, knight e6, and rook to c6, because now if we take knight to e6, if we take here, then b6 is strong. But when we go for this line, knight e6 and rook to c6, just not taking here because bishop would hang, but just play a rook to c6. Yes. And after this move, knight to h4, a rook here. Now, of course, after this h4, black cannot take here, because we will capture the knight. Okay, and rook to d8 would be played. And yes, that would be worse for white. Sorry, for black. But rook to e8. Here, knight c5. e5. Yes, sorry, I meant to explain this position, that we cannot take here, because rook would take here, and after b6, we have this nice move, h5, and if, let's say, if bishop takes, now we can play this move. So we take here, of course, let's say, if black takes on e6, now we have this strong move. Yeah, now this makes sense. So that was the point of h4, which is quite deep. So let's return. So instead, Jan opted for e5, rook b3, knight takes here, and now we take this pawn on e5, queen to f6, rook a3, knight to c4. Now, of course, we have to take this knight. Bishop takes knight on c4, dc4. And here we can play h5. But actually this was a mistake, and knight to b7 was better. Queen b6, knight d6. And of course, what is the point of this? We cannot take here this knight, because we have this strong check, and queen is lost. So that's why knight d6 here is very strong. Rook a5, and now we can take here, queen b2 and knight c4. So actually this was better to play in the game, but didn't choose the h5. And now a mistake, bishop to c2. It was better just to take a rook here, d takes, and very strong move now, queen to d8, and after queen to f3, we prevent the check. Queen to d2, another amazing move. We take here, but now queen e1, king to h2, check, and we would pick the knight there on c5, queen f7, king here, rook a4, again, very good move. A rook to c8. So here, of course, we cannot play this because this would lead to checkmate. So instead, black has to play rook to c8. Very complicated line, yes. But he opted for bishop to c2, knight b7, queen b6, knight d6. Again, we cannot take here, right? Because of this very nasty check, and queen is lost. So after that, queen to e5, queen b2, and now Dink really praised himself for seeing this move, a rook to a5. Here, knight to c4 is much worse, because queen c1 check, king h2, bishop d3. Now our knight is under attack, so we have to play queen to e3, queen d1, knight e5, queen takes pawn, queen here to h3, takes, and actually this position is kind of equal. Yes, very interesting. So rook to a5, also computer's best choice. King to h7, rook c5. Here actually the best move would be to go queen to e1, but it's very difficult to see that. This. Bishop to d3, and now we take here. Yes, and if bishop takes, then we have this check, and rook is lost. So amazing stuff. Rook c5 was played, and now this was the very big mistake. Here better would be just to take this pawn, but Jan opted for queen to c1, king h2, f6, queen g3, and now already there's huge pressure on this g7 pawn and on the king. a5, knight takes on c4, a4, and knight e3. Very accurate endings place for mate. Bishop to b1. Here the best move would be to play bishop here. According to computer, bishop to b1. Now rook c7, rook g8, knight d5, king h8, rook a7, a3, knight e7, rook f8, and d5. Amazing move by Liren. Dink is creating a mating net, as you will see later in the game. Now a2, queen c7. So our threat is, let's say, if black promotes, this is actually a checkmate in 2 moves. So he has to play king here, so there's no check. But now knight to g6 was played, rook g8, and very beautiful move for the end, queen to f7. So what's the point of this move? Let's say if black does random move like queen to c2, now we take a rook, king takes, rook to a8, king to f7, and this would be checkmate because of this important square, escaping square. d5 is holding it. So you remember a few moves ago, Dink played d5, and now black is mated actually. But if pawn would be on d4, he could escape, and black would win in this position. So again, we have a match, very interesting return of Dink. The match is one of the most interesting ones ever played. So all of us chess fans are very happy for that. And I hope we will see even more exciting games in the near future. Guys, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you very soon. Bye.